Good afternoon. Welcome to the World of Business with Garrett Henderson. I have a very special guest today, Mr. CK Irby. Appreciate you being here, brother.
Hey, thanks for coming. No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And CK, being a good host, we're out here in Florence, Alabama, on Wilson Lake, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, appreciate it. And just for the viewers, would you be willing to give maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds, kind of a brief general idea of who you are, what you're doing currently?
Yeah. So my name is CK Irby. I run the maintenance division for a couple complexes here in Florence and Muscle Shoals. We're all family owned, family operated, and basically I take care of the maintenance side of everything. And that ranges from stopped up toilets to air conditioners. So anything that happens in an apartment, generally, we can fix. So I run, the maintenance side, which consists of about 15 maintenance techs.
Okay.
And just kind of oversee that day to day and make sure we get all the apartments flipped. And
So you have about 15 maintenance techs, around 1,800 units.
Yep.
Spread across northwest Alabama.
Yes.
Mainly the Florence area.
Yep. About I think 1,200 apartment units in Colbert and Lauderdale County.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So I want to backtrack a little bit, and just really I want to get into your upbringing. How are you, brought up? What are your beliefs? How were you raised, etc.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah, so my dad is an entrepreneur. He's been in business his whole life. My mom was a pharmacist, and really growing up, I went to a Christian high school, Mars Hill, and religion was big in the house, and it was. I didn't understand that we had apartment units growing up, so it was kind of a not that big of a deal to me. But as I got older, I realized what having some apartments in the family meant. But growing up, my mom was the breadwinner for the family, being a pharmacist, and she worked her tail off every day, and it was me and my two brothers, and we just played baseball on the weekends, and that was about it.
Yeah, so I want to get into that. You're a really good baseball player. Played in high school at Mars Hill and had a lot of accolades. After that, you went to Sanford.
I did.
So, what was your drive? What was your driving force behind baseball, and what was your why?
So early on, my why was because I had fun playing, and growing up until. I tried to quit when I was 12 because I didn't, it wasn't fun. But then at 12 years old, I had a kind of a switch. My grandmother told me, she said, you're very good at it. Why not just play one more year? And so I did, and I had a great time that year. And the fun factor took me all the way through high school. And, I think what's most fun about athletics is the competition.
Yeah. No.
I love winning. I hate losing more than I love winning, but I think a lot of athletes can relate to that.
Yeah. No.
But going through high school, it was a lot of fun doing that and playing in high school. Played with a lot of great guys. Played some summer league stuff and everything like that. And then when it came time, start looking for colleges. Never in a million years did I think it would be able to, pay for college or do anything like that. I didn't think I was that good in high school. But as I got older, I got better and got better. And then, the why kind of changed going into college. It was another avenue to, further my learning and get into Sanford, and, kind of help me go that way because I wanted to be a pharmacist, and that
was your, oh wow, I didn't know that actually. So originally when you went to Sanford, or while you were in Sanford, the plan was for you to become a pharmacist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have a pharmacist school.
They do.
Correct. Yeah.
That's where my mom went. So
Okay.
I kind of had that. Coming out of high school, I was like, man, it would be really, really cool to go play at Sanford and then become a pharmacist right after that. I had no idea how much school work takes, but
your family owns around 1,800 units.
Yep.
So at that time, is CK Irby not thinking, well, I need to start learning the apartment business?
Like I said, I didn't know that we had apartments growing up. Like
When did those conversations begin to happen? You're
Probably-
gonna have to take over this portfolio one day.
there was never you had to do this.
Okay.
And that's, I love that, about my family. It was never a pressure thing to come back and do that. I kind of found out we had a bunch of apartments after I came back from minor league baseball in 2017.
Okay.
I got let go, from that, and came back and was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And just so happens our maintenance supervisor at the time kind of went another way, and they kind of shoved me in that role and said, "Hey, we need you to, pick up the slack here."
So it sounds like you were raised in a sense of go figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to support you, and there's no pressure to take over.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, just kind of touching on the minor league. So, you played at Sanford, inducted to the Hall of Fame recently. Actually.
Yeah, our team got inducted to the Sanford Hall of Fame. We had a lot of guys that off that team that went and played minor league baseball. We still got one from that team playing. Philip Irvin. He is. I'm not sure if he's still in affiliated ball, but I think he's playing in a professional league somewhere.
Okay. So played at Sanford, and you were there 4 years.
I was there 3 years.
3 years.
Yep.
The first year, so you got drafted in your junior year.
Yep.
Okay. And you were drafted to what organization again?
So I was drafted to the Minnesota Twins in the
Twins?
10th round.
Okay. And where did you play? What city were you playing in your minor league?
So I started off and I went to Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay.
And
That's a good place to be.
Yep, that was awesome.
That's a life right there.
It is great weather and great time down there. I went to Johnson City, Tennessee, or Elizabethton, but nobody knows where Elizabethton is.
That's up there by Kingsport, right?
It is.
Above Knox.
It's above Knoxville.
To Knoxville's here.
Yeah,
we've done some real estate business there.
It's I love.
It's a good market.
Appalachia.
People love Kingsport and Johnson City. It's a good market.
They should. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's got beautiful, nature and trails and hiking and lakes and the whole works. And then they've actually taken that league out of affiliated baseball. Now it's just a summer league, the Appalachian League. That's where I played. I played there 3 years. And
so you were up there for 3 years then?
Well, I was up there. You only played during the summers.
So you come back here during the
off season? Off season would start right around October.
Okay. And
then you would be here from October to February.
Okay.
And so I would come back usually and work for the nursery.
Okay.
And, water plants and move trees and, go install landscapes. And that was fun. I loved that because it was working directly with my dad. And then, I learned a whole lot about business there, and I learned, just a lot of stuff. And then, by the time Christmas trees got in here, we would sell Christmas trees, and then.
So y'all sell Christmas trees this time of year?
Yeah. So usually we would get a truckload of Christmas trees in and sell those things. And,
I know a lot of nurseries that do that.
Yeah, and it's good money.
I was gonna say, you make pretty good in doing that?
Oh, I mean, it's a lot of work, but there's some money in it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, cool. So played baseball, drafted, coming back here. Now you're over maintenance. Mm-hmm. So what has been the biggest transition or the hardest part of going from I'm an athlete to now I'm responsible for these people getting a paycheck and surviving and living and supporting their wives and kids and.
I mean, I can draw a lot of similarities. The teamwork aspect is pretty much the same. I mean, you've got some guys that are really good at one thing. You've got some guys that are really good at others. And so, managing those people and managing the team and managing how that team reacts and building a team, hiring and firing and, the dirty work that nobody likes to do.
So that is one of your responsibilities?
It is, yeah.
So you're somewhat of an HR as well?
I don't like HR, but I do I do interview and I do make the call on who gets hired and who has to unfortunately get let go. We've actually had, in this business, there's a lot of people who, come and learn some stuff, learn some skills, and then they find a better job. And, that I've always been told never be upset because somebody's trying to better themselves. And I think it's
never
hard.
personal.
It can't be personal.
Everybody's living in their own world trying to do the best that they can do.
That's it.
So what does Irby Construction do to try to retain employees? Like, maybe benefits?
Yeah.
Or do y'all help personally try to grow people, invest in them?
Yeah, I really do try that. Right now, we've got a great, I hate to say resource, but I've had really good success with reaching out into the NA and AA community.
Okay.
There are some people out there who struggle with addiction and struggle with, substances, and, I really try to help those people get back on that. Well, if they are willing to show up, I'm willing to take the risk.
Okay.
Right now, my supervisor, I've got a supervisor under me, and she kind of runs the North Division of Maintenance just on a day-to-day level, and her name is Christy, and she's got a great story. I mean, she's pulled herself up by the bootstraps and just really, applied herself and learned a whole lot. But
so you're investing a lot into Christy then?
I try, and she's a huge asset to our company, and obviously that's not everybody, but you gotta have something in there where you're trying to teach people some stuff and trying to increase their pay, and
mm-hmm.
the more skills, the more you can pay them.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are y'all big on like certifications and different things like that?
We love certifications.
Okay.
I've got all my certifications for the HVAC and such. Right now, we don't really, if somebody wants to go to school and do something for a trade, we're all about it. And I've offered people, I've offered to put somebody through like HVAC training, to where, if you want to go to school and you're going to go to the classes and you're going to learn the stuff, if you front the money, I'll reimburse you,
mm-hmm.
After you get your thing, your degree. But anytime anybody wants to better themselves, I'm always looking for that.
Well, a lot of the larger developers that I know, and I've seen a few that are growing,
mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, Nashville, Huntsville. A lot of those owners, CEOs, they're investing back into the employees,
mm-hmm.
and it seems like you get more employee retention that way, and people are happier, and
mm-hmm.
and I think they work harder for you as well.
Yeah, I mean we're a family run business, and
mm-hmm.
and we're trying, we're still trying to get insurance benefits for everybody, and that's it's a by case basis. So some of our people don't need it, some people do need it. We provide it to some that do need it, but there's all sorts of ways that you can try to help and increase the joy in everybody's life. But I was going somewhere with that. I'm trying to think of where I had.
We're talking about health insurance,
yeah,
and things like that, correct?
There was oh goodness, I'll figure it out in a minute.
No, you're good. You're good.
Blanked.
So yeah, you were just saying that right now you guys are wanting to invest into getting the employees' health care
mm-hmm.
and those different necessities. So,
yeah.
Well, awesome. So another topic I wanted to talk about is right now, and we've talked about this last night, right? You can see the company at 10,000 feet in the air,
mm-hmm.
but the next step for you is you need to get to 25,000 feet and see the entire company.
Yeah.
Because you're working this area,
mm-hmm.
you need to work this area.
Right.
Because eventually you're going to be over everything, right? So what's the next step for you and your growth in that area?
It's more, it's finding more employees, and here's where I was going earlier is, nowadays employee retention is so huge. Whenever you find a good employee, you have to keep them. It's just
It costs a lot of money to retrain. So.
It does, and it's not even about that. It's about people who, who fit into your system, and then especially with apartments and maintenance personnel, you're going into people's homes, and the more times that your tenants see the same face,
right,
the better they're going to feel about it. And so
it becomes a family environment.
It does, and
because I'm sure the tenants, they start to know the maintenance
for sure,
gentlemen and their names, and you probably know the tenants, and
you always know who's going to call about what, and that's a whole different thing. But the next step for me is getting my supervisors in line and training them to where they can handle more problems, that come up.
Okay.
So right now I'm handling all the HVAC work. So
that's 1,800 HVACs.
Yeah, I mean it takes some work. But I'd like to get a sure shot dude that woman that can handle all of that,
oversee that
to
area,
oversee that area. And then once that happens, that's a huge step for me. And then just making sure that we've got all of our bases covered when it comes to inspections.
Okay.
We do a lot of HUD inspections and stuff like that. And I'm very involved in doing the walkthroughs and then making sure everything gets handled on the backside of that. But, communication is just the biggest thing. And can you communicate everything effectively so that somebody else can, handle that problem the way that you see it needs to be handled.
Right. So I want to get into the development.
Okay.
Because we've talked about this. We've talked about, we've looked at land together and acquisitions and, Irby construction. I mean, are you guys planning on constructing any more properties? What's the plans on that?
It all depends on cost. To build a single story unit, in Florence, you're looking between, from my estimates. Let me back that up.
Let's add some clarification.
Yeah.
Let's say because one of the main floor plans that I've seen, because I've brokered a lot in Florence, 2 bed, 1,200 square feet.
Yep.
Let's say you build 100 units. How much is that going to cost?
We estimate it to cost, if you want to do bare bones and I don't want to say half-ass through it, but if you want to get it done and completed and spend as least money as possible and have something rentable, I think you're anywhere between $110,000 to $130,000 a unit.
And I don't know the rents justify that.
It just depends. I mean, it's location. I mean, and
it is location.
The better location you got to, you're going to have is the more expensive, the land is going to be, and that obviously factors in. But it's just I don't believe that
it's hard to build. It's hard to build an apartment for that cost in Florence right now.
It is, and then also the other thing is, we're seeing a rent increase everywhere across the board. And
so you're telling me that in Florence right now the rents are going up for apartments?
They have in the past 2 or 3 years.
I know Huntsville, Nashville, the bigger MSAs, they overbuilt.
Are they coming down right now?
Well, I think that the units are being leased up.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the building has slowed down, but I think it's going to ramp up in 2025-ish. Probably the end of 2025, early 2026. I think the more developers are going to start developing more.
Yeah.
But I do think Florence they didn't develop as much as the bigger market. So the rents are going up from what you're seeing.
I just don't know how much they can go up. We've got some apartments in Florence, and I know that they're more power to them. They're renting for $1,400 for a 2-2 right now.
Square footage?
1,200, just about the same thing.
Really?
Single level. Some have carports, some don't. A duplex. I know that there's a duplex near us. Duplex with a carport, $1,250. And maybe this is my hometown bias, but I don't think there's enough income in Florence to support those rents long term. I mean, Florence, we're struggling with. We don't have a ton of industrial jobs. We don't have a ton of.
And it's too far from Huntsville.
Yeah.
You're not going to get. I mean, you are going to get commuters, But there's not going to be. It's not Decatur.
No, it's not Decatur.
It's not Athens.
So I'm not sure that the rents will hold up. But especially if you want to build something for that, it's just hard for me to justify that, and I can't see you renting it out long term for those rents.
So 110, 120.
Yeah. Right in there.
I know some of the deals you and I have looked at, buying and brokering and things like that. Those type of rents, that square footage, 2010 plus product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd say they're 90 to 100 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can justify building at that price. I agree.
I mean, everybody's there are people doing it now. So there's an angle that I guess I'm not seeing somewhere, and I'm not naive to think.
You're more established. You don't need to be aggressive right now. That's the difference.
I'd like to be.
From 10,000 feet in the air, that would be my opinion on it.
I love to be aggressive. I mean, I would love to. I'd love to build. I'd love to start tomorrow. But once you start to sit down and at least from my perspective, I don't think it's there. And also,
it'll get there though.
I believe so.
I don't think we've had a real estate crash yet.
No, I don't think we have either.
I think there's some damage done in 21, 22, and overbuying. And talked about this yesterday, kicking the can down the road on the loans coming due. And I'm not saying it's going to happen now or next year, but I think it'll happen in the next 10 years. Something's gonna happen.
We'll see what happens. I think if some of these balloon notes hit, at the 5-year mark, it'll really depend on what the interest rate does. I mean, if the interest rate keeps going the way that it has, and that balloon hits.
The banks were also extending it, just giving people extensions.
Oh wow!
A year at a time extensions. Because I mean, it's a game that the banks don't want to go down.
Yeah.
I mean,
banks don't want to manage one either.
Well, that's a big part of it. The banks aren't management companies. They're not real estate management companies, all right? Yep. And the single family sector is a little different. I mean, especially for Huntsville, Nashville, and those areas, because in the sense that the economy is going to pick up, in my personal opinion, but let's just say it doesn't. And people overpaid, and they credit card debt, student loan debt, all these different things going on, right? And let's just say they throw in the keys on the single family homes. The thing is in these economies, Nashville, Huntsville, for example, there's so much money, engineering jobs, growth, etc., that the banks can resell the single family home.
They sure can.
It's a different story. They're going to take a much bigger loss on a multifamily.
Oh, for sure.
They're definitely trying to manage it.
There are very few, not very few buyers, but there's drastically fewer buyers than for a single family home. It takes it takes a sizable purchase to buy one of those 100-unit complexes, and then it comes with its own set of struggles with the management company,
right.
and I think that's the real big key to anything. I always tell people you can kind of do up to 10 units on the side. So like somebody that's got fewer than 10 rentals, if they're hiring somebody to do that, and that's great, but having a good management company is crucial if you're
extremely important.
I mean, unless you're doing it full time. I mean, unless you are the management company, which I think that's
well,
great.
you're a family office, so you guys, you treat everybody like family, but you're also you're gonna get the rents where they need to be to support what y'all need to do, accomplish. Yeah.
Our biggest thing right now is insurance is going up, and we've got a few properties that are master metered on water and sewer and stuff like that, and we had a rate increase there, and unfortunately we just we try to eat it as long as we can, but at some point you have to pass that on, and you're always going to get those upset phone calls and stuff like that. But
let's talk about this real quick. Yeah. Just kind of let you bounce off this. You and I have talked about this before. You have a lot of outside investors. You have money from New York and Texas and California, and they overpay for the properties. And when you do that, you have to raise the rents high.
Yeah.
So you guys are in a position, being a family office, where you can kind of go in and undercut them a little bit.
You can, yeah.
So because and you don't have external investors, so correct. You're kind of able to kind of get in there nice and cozy.
Yeah. That's kind of where we're at in the current market. We don't want to be the big dogs. We don't want to have the highest rent in town. and our average cost, if you look back at the times that we built, the last one we built was 2014. And so costs have risen exponentially since then. And our cost per unit is pretty reasonable. So we do have that ability to keep our rents low, like we have.
Right.
And when your name is attached to something and, that people in the community know you and stuff like that. And I think that's where we're struggling now is we don't want to have the reputation of,
well, you're good people. You don't,
We
and
try.
you're in the position to help others as well. But you make money, but you can help people too, and give back to the community. So that's a big part of it. So kind of the last segment of the podcast, I'd like to talk about maybe your grandfather, because he started the company, and could you just give us like a brief background on him and how he got into the apartments? And
Yeah, so my grandfather was from Bastrop, Louisiana, and he grew up in a single mother, raised him. Big Mama was her name, and anyway, she raised him and sent him off to college, and he played football at Mississippi State, and he played there for a couple years, and then he was drafted to play for the St. Louis Rams. No, somebody like that. I think it was who was the St. Louis team before they were the Rams? No. Anyway, he got drafted and figured out he could make more money working than playing professional football in the 60s. So he had an entrepreneurial spirit, and man, he had so many businesses. It was I've heard stories from a tire shop that he had. He had a radio station. He did nightclubs. He even had a chain of fried chicken, and they were up to 30 stores.
are you serious?
Yeah. So they had 30 fried chicken places.
So where was he getting his support for all this? How did
So-
was he fundraising the money to open those businesses? And
I think there was. I know how he got started. The tire shop was how he got started, and he had worked there, and really he had worked there during high school.
learn the business.
Learned the business during high school, and the owner was a guy that did not have any kids, and whenever he retired, he basically owner financed him the tire shop.
That's awesome.
So
how old would he have been?
He would have been, I think that was right after football, so that was probably
Probably my age. What,
probably
24,
23, 24.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really cool.
It is,
And so he got started there, and I think he just flipped it, and every time he just kind of one thing after another, and I think he just kept rolling it into the
The
next
thing about
thing.
business is you can learn so much in different industries or sectors, and you can kind of carry it over. I mean, it's managing people, right? You're just moving this product to the client and doing what's best for them, and it's just different products.
That's it, and just having that drive
Yeah,
to keep going.
for sure. So gets out of the chicken business. It
Yep.
sounded like, and then that's when he got into the apartments.
Yeah, so after the chicken restaurants, he got into some construction and came over to Florence and built an apartment complex. And once he built that one, there was some. This is hearsay, so I wasn't around when this happened, but he. The story goes he couldn't get paid by the general contractor, and the general contractor gave him a piece of the action.
They couldn't come. He couldn't pay the bill, so they gave him some equity.
Right. So he acquired some equity and figured out that there was
It's a good investment.
good investment and good money to be made there. So he went through town and he drummed up some investors around town to build his first complex, which was 80 units.
And it was Red Fern, right?
Redfern Apartments.
Legendary Red Fern.
That's it. And they built those, and it kind of took off.
Red Fern's an 80s product, right? If I remember
I
correctly.
think it's a early 80s, late 70s product. I mean, it was...
But that's like the bread and butter for a lot of investors. It's that 80s product.
It's if you can find somewhere that's been taken care of, or if you can find somewhere that you got meat on the bone where you can go in and really update it. I think there's opportunities there, and one of the biggest hurdles is reputation of that area. If you go, like we said before, location, there's some properties that have kind of fallen off, and they might be that early '80s product, but
location,
they've still probably get a good location, but maybe the reputation of that complex has gone down.
Well, one thing I'm seeing in Huntsville, you got the school districts. It could be you can have a 10 out of 10 property, A class, beautiful, great location, but if it's zoned for this school, kills everything.
Right.
So you're right. Location's one of the most important factors.
Location, and then the reputation of the apartments. I mean, you can't have somewhere that has been the kind of the armpit of living, and I say that tongue in cheek, but you want a good public perception of that complex. And as an apartment complex gets older and things happen, I feel like it doesn't become that shiny new complex anymore, and so you gotta maintain that and try to keep that up as best you can. So
yeah. So Red Fern, what was the property developed in 2014?
That was Royal Crest. It's in Muscle Shoals.
How many units is that on?
It's 150.
150.
Yep.
Okay. And was that HUD?
No, that's all a straight conventional.
You just wanted to build one?
Yeah, that was the last one my grandfather built before he died.
Okay.
And
oh right, yeah. So that would have been his last one.
Yeah.
He died about 10 years ago, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So we've got about half and half conventional, non-conventional, government funded, like
Tech.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So y'all still own some of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Gateway owns a lot of those as well.
Gateway does a very good job of those,
Yes.
and I'm all for. He's done a whole lot, and just from what I've heard, he does a very good job at all that stuff. So
yeah. Well, cool. I can't think of anything else I'd like to ask you. I think we covered a lot today, and we're hitting that 30-minute mark.
Hey, it's great.
So I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the friendship, and
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, look forward to continue working with you and
for sure
our friendship. So
thank you much. Appreciate you.
How you feel?